Guess what I have for you guys today? Yay! It's the Weather Painters! They're back! Oh my goodness, you guys don't know how much I did with this deck? Bro, I played this deck so many different ways, it's crazy. Oh man, this deck is super fun, bro. It really is. You know, this deck is what got my girl wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because she just thinks these guys look so beautiful. And this deck has, like, I'll put it in probably, like, top 10 favorite artworks. Like, this deck is so beautiful, bro. Weather Painters. So, if you're watching this video right now, I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch my other Weather Painter content first. And then you can make sense of this build, too. Because there's a lot of other builds. True King builds, True Draco builds, Invoke build, Stun build. Hybrid variants, just a lot of different builds and consistent updates and test hands to prove that it works. But today I'm coming at you guys with a different take. It's a pure variant, but it's a stun variant. The reason why I chose to go for the stun variant over the combo one is because I think that Weather Painters are a really good deck that can grind, and also that they can comfortably play back row without it hindering them, slowing them down. They're kind of one of those decks that doesn't have a green light go for turn one. They just set up and continue to set up and continue to set up, and like you just plus really hard off of your snowy canvas, and you just generate all the advantages you can. You disrupt your opponent as many times as you possibly can, keep them from killing you. You set up with your rainbow. Once you can set up with your rainbow, that's when it's just like it's downhill from there. Is oh man, when you set up for your rainbow, it's incredible, bro. But it takes time. So this deck, you know, the True King variant is a lot more explosive. When you get Calamities, back when Masterpiece was legal too, Calamities Masterpiece, I was doing that turn one, bro. And that was enough to just kill them. I didn't even have to set up a Painter Rainbow, but it's just amazing. But this is the pure build, and it's done. So I'm gonna hop into it, but I don't have my Snows. I'm sorry, you guys. Snow is like the main Weather Painter. She has 22 defense. She sets a canvas directly from your deck to any column. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't have her. I'm sorry. I sold her at Nationals. So let's hop into this build, you guys. Let's do it. Monsters. If you don't have Snow, another good replacement for Snow is Thunder. For right now, I'm maximizing on Thunder. In all my builds, I really did play 3 Snows and 3 Thunders because they get you your canvases immediately. There's a canvas for each painter, and the canvas is very similar to the painter itself. I think it kind of replicates or tries to depict how they are as a person. But they actually paint weather, you guys. Like, this guy's painting Thunder, which is really cool. So, yeah. Cool fun fact. They're actually painting, they're really painting weather. Like, they're just not just called weather painters. They're painting the weather. So there's probably a lore behind them where, you know, the sun rises, and it's because their sun is painting the sun and stuff like that. But what this guy does is he sends a face-up continuous spell or trap that you control to the grave. That's the cost. Place 1 weather spell or trap from your deck in your spell or trap zone. And you can only use that effect once per turn. And then also every Weather Painter shares this effect. If they're banished for the activation, not the cost, if they're banished for the effect of any canvas, they get special summoned to your next standby. So they're really good. They keep coming back, and that's how you can live off of like 1 or 2 painters, because they just always dodge effects and they keep coming back, and you can consistently get your field presence bigger and bigger because you're just tagging out, and then netting advantage off your Snowy, searching off Snowy, get another guy on board, and just keep tagging out with them until you can build up for your Rainbow. The deck's not the best in the world, but it can play some stun tools to help it, to basically make your opponent play at the speed that's more comfortable for the deck's playstyle. You could play lose 1 turns, anti-spells, all kinds of floodgates. You really can. There's a lot that you could do. You could do a floodgate build. Next up, we have Triple Cloud. Cloud the Sun. Cloud had more combos with Diagram than he does in his own deck right now. Cloud comboed with Diagram. Whenever I would tribute summon for Masterpiece or one of my Baby Dracos on my opponent's turn, I'd use Cloud to get the fodder that I just tributed back on the field. Cloud is insane. Like, he just, anytime one of your canvases leaves, he can place up to 2 from your graveyard back to your field. So he lets you grind. But why I love Cloud so much is because his name reminds me of Final Fantasy. Cloud! And he kind of looks like Cloud, but not really. But yeah, he's pretty awesome too. So that's his effect. And then the other one, you know, they all share the same. When they get banished by the effect of a canvas, 2 activated canvases effect, they get to return their souls during the next standby. So yeah, Cloud and Triple Thunder. These keep your canvases consistently on your field and in rotation. Then next up, one of my favorite for the combos with the True King variant was the Sun. Because of the combos that Sun has with Diagram. Yeah, like Cloud and Sun have really good combos with Diagram. They really do. And something else that was cool interactions was Thunder could send off Heritage or Apocalypse and set a canvas, and you could pop something after that because he sends any face-ups. So yeah, Thunder also helps because if you play the Floodgate build, he helps you to clear spots in your extra in your back row so that you can play fresh new canvases, especially if it's like a Floodgate that's not, like a lose one turn that's not doing you any good, or another Floodgate that's just not helping. You could just get rid of it. But yeah, Sun, what he does is if he's in the graveyard, you can send one face-up continuous spell or trap you control to the grave, and then special summon him from the grave, and then you play another canvas as well. So he's an extender, and he works really good with his own canvas too. That's the crazy thing. Sunny canvas works with Sunny, which is really cool. And then of course, if he gets banished, he comes back too, and he's a 16 body. Thunder is 17 body. Thunder's the biggest main deck monster, other than Aurora, but I don't like Aurora and I don't play her. I just don't like her. But yeah, combos, you guys. This deck has combos. It's really fun to play, and it's so euphoric whenever I play it, bro. That I had to pull this deck out because I was just like so focused on my other decks. Like, you guys have no idea. I have so many decks, right? So it's so hard to give love to all of them. So there's just times that I'm like, oh yeah, let me pull out my Weather Painters. Yeah, I got to. I have to get that update for you guys. So many people have been asking for a while. And then a new addition to the deck is I'm actually playing Rain. In the pure build, Rain is good. But in the True King variant and the True Draco variant, and even in the Invoked variant, it wasn't that great. But what Rain does, she combos really well with Snowy. Because Snowy Canvas searches any The Weather card, right? And what you can do is actually you can combo with her. And if you search Aurora's Canvas or Thundery Canvas, you can actually use her effect to play that trap from your hand to your field on your opponent's turn. So you could use Snowy to search a trap and then play it the same turn that you searched it on your opponent's turn. So you literally go Snowy, search Aurora, use her effect, play Aurora, and then you can take a card from your opponent's hand, which is really cool. So yeah, Rain lets you be reactive. She lets you actually do some plays where you can actually react to your opponent's plays, which is really cool. So yeah, I like Rain now, but just still as a one-up. Yeah, that's it for the painters. Only 9. If I had Snow, Cloud would instantly be at 2, and Thunder would be at 2, and then I would just throw in an extra monster as Snow, and then I play 11 monsters. I normally was playing 11 painters. This is 10 painters. They're so awesome, you guys. You have no idea how much euphoria I'm having right now. The feeling. All right, so starting off with spells, we play 3 Demise. I have to admit, this card is only good turn 1. After turn 1, it's only gonna be good if you get your establishment broken. Like if your opponent breaks your setup, it's good as a recovery. But this card is only good turn 1. Why? Because if you set up with your Weather Painters and you set up right, every standby they special summon themselves. And keep in mind, if you read it, it says, if this card was banished from the field to activate the effect of a Weather's card effect, you can special summon this banished card. You can. So if you're really greedy and you want to resolve your card of Demise after turn 1, you can leave them in the banished zone. You don't have to bring them back. But I don't want to leave my Weather Painters in the banished zone, bro. I don't want to do that to them. So that's why I think Demise is really only good turn 1. But don't get me wrong, if you still don't have the setup that you need, I don't mind leaving one of my 3 Thunders or one of my 3 Clouds or one of my Suns in the banished zone and leaving them there. I mean, it'll break my heart, but it's still, if drawing 3 is worth more than just keeping that one monster, especially if you already search another monster off of off of Snowy Canvas, you could just search another copy of that same Thunder that you left in the banished zone, and it helps. So Demise is good, but at the same time, sometimes you don't want to use it after turn 1. But you still can. So that's the point I'm really getting at. You can always resolve Demise because their effects to special summon themselves are optional. So it's never going to conflict, but the thing is you have to sacrifice whenever you want to resolve Demise for a second time. But you naturally only need to like resolve it once because you just need a setup for turn 1. Once you get your setup, you start getting everything going. You start pushing, bro. And we have triple pot. Pretty much all my painters that I care about are at multiples. And as long as I don't banish my Sun. If I banish my Sun, oh, my balls are going to hurt, bro. I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to cry, and I'm just going to rage quit. But you need the +1 because Pot of Desires is better than Demise because you don't have that drawback of not being able to special. So you just need another card because this is a +2. Demise is a +2. But you need another card that nets you more than 1 that you can play without having the restriction of no special summon. That's why if you notice, I don't play Duality in this list. The next best card for the deck is 3 Snowy Canvas. This card, you actually plus more off of Snowy than you do off of Demise. So Snowy, as long as you keep it on the field, you generate a lot of advantage, a lot. Yeah, you can search out your whole deck with 1 Snowy, you guys. It's really good. So what it says is, and so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the canvases. But so what they say is the weather effect monsters that are in this column and its adjacent columns all gain this effect. So the canvases don't have effects that activate. What they do is give effects to your painters. This is around the era when columns got really important. Like magical muskets came out, columns really meant something. They still should, because mech knights and stuff like that. But all your weather painters that are in this column and the adjacent, so think of it as a T formation. So if this is in column number 3, which is where I like to have it, you have column number 3 and 2 and 4 that all have effects that are granted by this snowy canvas. And what it does is every canvas gives your weather painters an effect that banishes them to do an action. So this one says they gain this effect. They can banish themselves and add 1 the weather card from your deck to your hand. This effect, none of the canvases are once per turn. None of them are hard once per turn. But also, if you read it, for the rest of the turn, not during the turn, but for the remainder of the turn, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand except by drawing them. These are draw cards. Demise is a draw card. Desires is a draw card. So it only conflicted with the diagram build. So I'd have the diagram first and then Snowy after. But yeah, Snowy's good. It's your searcher. And once you get 1 painter and a Snowy, you can actually, like I said, leave it in the banish zone and resolve your demise because you have another painter that you search off of this. So yeah, as long as this is on field, you get a search on your turn, search on your opponent's turn, search on your turn, search on your opponent's turn. So you're plussing really hard. By the time it comes back to your turn, if you go turn 1, by the time it comes back to turn 2, you've searched 3 times off of this card. That's really good. So yeah, it's pretty strong. You want to play that 3. And even with snow, you still want to play that 3. Next up, my favorite combo canvas is Sunny Canvas. Sunny's canvas is really how you abuse the weather painter. There's a cool interaction that you have with her. So what it does is, of course, like I was explaining to you, any painters that are in the columns of these canvases and the adjacents get this effect. So this one, I have to read it to you because it's pretty cost heavy. You banish them, you target an effect monster you control, tribute that, and if you do, special summon 1 weather monster from your hand or your graveyard with a different name. So you banish your painter, you tribute another monster, and then you special summon 1 the weather monster from your hand or your graveyard. A lot of times, I'll just summon from my hand just to get more painters on field, because now on my standby, I'll have enough to go into my link. And I just need 1 more to normal summon for turn, so I'll go into my link first, normal summon my painter in this column. This is a solemn judgment, you guys, and it's not once per turn. And it negates summons, it negates effect. It's crazy. It's broken. You just have to get it set up. So yeah, double Sunny Canvas. Sunny Canvas is really, really powerful. It helps you to extend your play, set up bigger boards, and it's a quick effect. All of the canvases are actually quick effects, which is really cool. Every single one of them, including the spells, you can activate on your turn and your opponent's turn. So you can set up and extend your board on your turn. Then in your opponent's turn, you can extend your plays even more. And you know why this is so broken? Because the Weather Painted Rainbow, once you summon it, you can keep resummoning it from the graveyard off of this canvas. This is how you make Link 4s that require 2 monsters, like Griffin, like Gunbar, like Firewall, like Skuldred, 2 monsters with different names. Because you literally summon her from the grave, use one of your painters, link into a big Link 4 monster, which gives you a really, really good damage output and allows you to actually set up a nice board so that you can combat the meta. So yeah, I love using Sunny to extend with my Rainbow Painter. That's why it's my goal to set up Rainbow as quickly as possible so that I can start turboing out Link 4s that require 2 monsters using my Sunny Canvas. That's the way I play my deck. And then next up, we have 1 Rainy and 1 Cloudy. These canvases are not that great, and I really don't think that you should play them in multiples because you're accessible through the deck. This guy cuts a monster in half. So it's kind of like a shrink that I don't think you can use it like in the way that you would want to. You can use it in the damage set because it does modify. But it's not that abusive and it's not that great. It's good because all your painters are pretty small, but you have a trap that helps you to do a lot better with that job. And then Rainy bounces back rows. I don't think bouncing back rows is that great unless it's like during the end phase of an Altergeist player's turn. You can bounce one on their end phase. Then on your standby phase, you can bounce another one, which can really help you to deal with 2 back rows that you don't have to play into, which is really cool. So those are the spell canvases. I play 7. Okay? And you know what? I'm going to do this just because I can. Okay? I want to do this, you guys. All right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Rain and put her by her canvas. Take Sun, put him by his canvas. Take Cloud and put him by his canvas. And Thunder, he's going to go next to his canvas right now. I just want to do this, you guys. I have to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Look at this. Look at them next to their canvases, bro. It's so beautiful. Oh, my gosh. It's so amazing, you guys. This deck is so cool. It looks awesome, and it's pretty fun. Like, it's so fun that it kind of makes it worth it, that even though the deck's not that good, that it's just kind of like how fun it is makes up for how not competitive it really is. Because it's not really competitive, it's not. But the reactive stun tools that the deck is able to play in a comfortable manner is what can make it a tier 2 deck, potentially. Not saying that it is, I'm saying potentially. Alright, so those are your canvases. And now for the remainder of the spells, we have more reactive cards. We have Triple Shared Ride, because this deck needs to plus more. And what's better than plussing on your opponent's turn, bro? Let's be honest. You're going for your Snowy canvas. Snowy says what? For the rest of the turn, you can only draw. You flip Shared Ride after you've searched on your opponent's standby. You're like, oh, let me go ahead and search one card, get my guy out of here. And then I'm going to flip a Shared Ride, and you're paying for the gas. So, yeah, I'm going to plus so hard. Like, this deck can plus so hard on your opponent's turn, and it can screw your opponent's hand up, too, with the Aurora canvas. We'll get there when we get there. But 3 Shared Ride and triple Forbidden Chalice. I do main deck impermanences, but I need chalices too, because this deck can struggle going second against established boss monsters, and especially extra link boards. Like, if you could just bait the Trigate, this deck doesn't need an extra deck for a very long time. So you can steamroll through the extra deck with your traps. Your traps and your canvas that bounces monsters to hand. This right here is going to break an extra link slowly but surely. You just got to get enough painters, and it's going to bounce them. It's going to bounce them. It's going to bounce them. So this and impermanence can stop the Trigate. That way you can just finish them off. So you can either do it on turn 0, or you'll just set this, and then whenever your opponent goes in to proceed, if they try to banish with Trigate, you flip. You chain this. They try to chain with Trigate, and that's when you chain your impermanence and negate it, or you chain your strike and negate it, or you flip your Rivalry of the Warlords and you break the extra link board anyway. So yeah, Chalice is really good, complementing with other cards. It's a damage step card as well. Helps you to beat over things. It's not once per turn. It's very flexible. It's a good tech card, especially for this deck. So these are the spells that you set as traps to be reactive, so that you can get more plays in your opponent's turn, because you really need to stun your opponent as much as you can, because Weather Painters don't have effects that say destroy this card on the field. You know what I'm saying? So you need to react to everything that your opponent can do to ensure that you can at least, if you can't break the board, you can at least get the board to the point where it's feasible enough for you to plow through it with your Thundery canvas, and for you to, once you get your setup with your Rainbow, that's when it gets really easy, because you just set up like really, really good with the Rainbow. So yeah, that's pretty broken. Now for our traps, we have 3 copies of Thundery canvas. This is the non-targeting, non-destructive removal that this deck has that's really searchable. Thunder's canvas is really broken. Look at how much fun he's having. Bro, look at how much fun this young man's having on his canvas. He's just riding on the thunder, bro. He's just riding, and he's drawing the thunder with his crayon. Really cool. I'm sorry, not crayon. He's painting, actually. I'm sorry, you guys. So, like I said, all the canvases give Weather Painters the effect that are in the column and the adjacent. So, T-shape, up, right, and left, right next to it. So, middle column is the best way to get the most advantage, because middle column, you'll get 3 columns. If you put this card in, for example, column number 5, it'll go up and you only get 2 columns. If you put it in 4, it'll go up and you'll still get the 2 columns. But if you have it in 3, it's a lot more flexible, because you have 3 columns and then you have 2 more that you can have another canvas that grants the effect to the additional painter, if that makes sense. Because you can have, for example, this guy, and as long as you keep your best canvas in the middle column, your other canvas, which can be right here, will grant the effect to him and to him. So they have multiple effects that they can trigger. And these cards cannot be Ghost Ogre, you guys, because their effects do not activate. They just sit there and give their effects to the canvases, to the painters, which is really cool. So yeah, if any of your Weather Painters battle a monster, you basically can banish the painter through the effect that this gives the painter. And you get to bounce that monster, which is really cool. So the painters can get 3 to 4 effects. So you have the 2 effects that every painter has, and then you have the effects that you can give them to the canvases. And keep in mind, because it works with a T shape in the columns, you can have it set up to where one painter actually can get 2 to 3 effects off of the canvases that are set up in your back row. So yeah, this is how you out stuff. You can get your Kaijus back, bounce a Kaiju another monster. This breaks U-Link boards because you can do this effect. And if they change Trigate, you flip a Chalice or you flip an Impermanence. And then Trigate's dealt with, then you could just bounce the Trigate if you want to. Or whatever's attacking, you just bounce it, which is really good. And it's the fact that it's not once per turn that makes it so good. And you play 3 of it because you really need to see it. And because we don't have 3 snows, it's harder to access your canvases. Because I sold my snows. And then next up, the most reactive of all the canvases is Aurora. So what it says is it's pretty broken. I actually like it. If exactly 1 card is added to one player's hand, except during the damage step, and you could do this on yourself, you basically banish the painter, right? Because this gives the effect to the painter to do this. That player basically... Oh, I'm sorry. You basically banish that card from that player's hand, and then they draw one random card. So what's really cool is this is like kind of like a pseudo Mind Crush. Why is that a pseudo Mind Crush? Because if your opponent searches something important, you can use this canvas to banish that specific card from their hand, and they will draw a random, so they'll get a card back. But that important card that he needed, who knows if they're going to draw it again. So it really helps. And the fact that this is not once per turn, none of the canvases are once per turn. So if your opponent's searching really heavy, especially when you put them under a shared ride complements the Aurora canvas really well. Because they're searching, you're drawing a lot, and then you can use your painters to take the important, powerful cards away that they're searching. As long as you have multiple painters, you can do this and continue to snipe your opponent's searches, and they will get to draw randoms, but it might not be what they want. So it can be really good, and it's the only reactive canvas that can actually stop your opponent from comboing off. The one that bounces spells and traps is okay. The one that shrinks monsters in half is okay, but it can't stop your opponent from comboing. This does. That's why I play it at 2, but not at 3, because you can clog with it, and it's not always that great, especially if you're going second. So yeah, it's pretty good to set up turn 1. Next up, one of the best 1-for-4s or 1-for-5 traps in this deck is Torrential. The reason being is because the spell canvases, as I explained to you guys, these are quick effects. So especially for this one has no requirement, but some of these have specific targets. Like your opponent has to have a spell or trap or a monster to trigger these, but obviously this is going to be live if you're torrentialing them. So basically, if your opponent summons a monster, you can activate Torrential Tribute, and guess what you can do? You can chain your painters, banish them for their effects, get a search, get a bounce, get a disrupt, rip a card from their hand. I prefer to do Snowy so I can search off of my painter, and then if I have multiples, I'll banish them for another canvas like for example like Rainy or Cloudy. So I'll bounce a spell or trap, and basically once you banish them for cost, your Torrential will resolve, and then you have no monsters on field, so you're torrentialing, you're basically right-gekking on your opponent's turn. Does that make sense? If you need me to explain it in the comments, I will. But you can chain their effects, banish their cells, and you can torrential for free. And you play 3, you know? You can resolve multiple. So this is really strong going first. This is how the deck can actually get some damage in for direct attacks. Then we have triple Rivalry of the Warlords. All your painters are fairies. So yeah, they're all the same type. And the only time this conflicts is when you start going into the play I was mentioning with Sunny Canvas, where you basically link with this. You link with this into a link 4, and then you use Sunny Canvas to bring it back from the grave, and then you link with it for another link 4. So you can actually do, I've done this playing against Cool and other friends, where I've set up a Firewall and a Griffin co-link, which is really cool. And you co-link them, which is, you know, that's pretty nuts when you're doing that, basically because you're summoning a link 3 for free. But that can only conflict with Rivalry because the stuff you summon has to be fairies. So obviously, if you have Rivalry up, it's a way, and this card's way stronger if you just leave it on the field in the first place. Because while it's on the field, we'll get to that, but it basically is like a solemn judgment. But triple Rivalry helps you going second, breaks boards, but only against certain decks. It's not great against Thunder Dragons. It's not all that against Sky Strikers, depending on if you're going first or second. It's not good against Ultrageist at all, but there are decks that it can kill, and it's worth playing because it's another way that you can outboards going second. Then we have triple Impermanence and also triple Strike. So you have 9 main deck negations. You have the triple Chalice, you have the triple Impermanence, you have the triple Strike. So you have a lot of reactive combos, combo pieces, which is really good. They're not necessarily combo pieces, I'm sorry. You have a lot of reactive cards that you can draw into off your demise. And you could just really set up a lot of stun. You got, you know, Rape Your Hand, negate. Negate. You got Rivalry to control the board. You got Torrential to control the board. You've got Shared Ride to really change the tempo, and that really controls your opponent's hand as well. And then you've got your canvases that you're triggering on your opponent's turn, getting a lot of advantage. Like, this deck can, once it gets set up, it can get really out of control. And I mean out of control, like, in a good way. It can get really out of control. I played with this deck for... ever since it came out. Like, I got me and Ed opened the boxes of Spirit Warriors, and I built this deck that same. I've been playing it ever since it came out. I never stopped playing it. I just don't update it that often because I'm always thinking of new ways to play it, and until I discover new ways to play it, that's like, you know, when I do an update. But that's the main deck, you guys. Now for the extra deck, I'm gonna have to explain this card to you because it's so broken. So we have the boss monster of the deck, the Weather Painter Rainbow. She's all the colors, you guys. She requires 3 weather monsters. So her effect says, when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, send this link summon card to the grave. I'm glad it said link summon, so you can't do Sunny to bring back a free summon negator. But this link summon card to the grave, negate the summon and destroy that monster or monsters. It works on pendulum summons too. And also during the standby phase of a turn, if this card was banished from the field to activate basically a weather card, you can summon it. You never ever banish this off the canvases unless you actually have to, because you want to keep it in the extra monster zone so that its columns point down. That's where it gets nutty, because its columns do this. So weather effect monsters that this card points to gain this effect. When a card or effect is activated, card or effect, so it can be a continuous effect that's already been activated. It could be the effect of a Draco spell or trap hit in the grave. It could be a field spell that's already activated. It could be a diagram that's been up for 2 turns. You negate the activation of that card and destroy it. And what you do is you basically you banish them for cost. So while you have Rainbow, this is the perfect way to describe it. Let's say you have Rainbow and you have these guys right here, right? So you have Rainbow and you have these guys, and your opponent activates a card effect. You go banish, effect, negate. They activate another one, you go effect, banish, negate. Standby phase, they come back. And you have consistent negates that never go away because they banish themselves. So this can be an infinite solemn judgment. The only limit to its ammunition is 3 because it has 3 columns. So you're basically going to have it like this, where your painters have their 2 monster effects. This effect of Weather Painter Rainbow, when they do their effect to negate cards, do you know that you cannot negate, you cannot solemn strike Rainbow? Because it's not her effect. Her effect is being given to them. So it's their effect that's activating. I know it's hard to explain, but the weather painters that this card points to gain this effect. So you give your painters that effect, you give them this effect, you give them this effect. You give all your painters a lot of effect, you guys. Like, you can give them up to 5 monster effects, so they can do so much. That's why it's really good that they banish and come back, because you want to use them for so many different things. So yeah, she's a solemn judgment, and she's also like an infinite negation, which is really strong. So sometimes it's better to leave her on the field, but when you want to get aggressive, you want to start using her as a free link 3 that you can easily summon back from your grave to go into link 4. So yeah, you can link climb really easily because she's a link 3. Once you've summoned her properly the first time, you keep summoning her back from the grave on your turn and your opponent's turn, and you just keep linking her off, keep linking her off. You can summon up to 4 link 4s in the progression of your turns, like 1 per turn. You go link 4 now, link 4 next, link 4 next. And this deck's really good with Topologic Bomber Dragon too. So yeah, pretty broken. She's amazing. She's a really good card. You want to play 2 of her. Then we have all the link 4s that require 2 monsters. These all require 2+ monsters. Why is that important, 3 stacks? Because remember I was telling you how I play my weather painters? She is a link 3 that you can summon from the grave through a searchable spell that's not once per turn. It's not once per turn. So if you have enough monsters, you can actually do what I said. Co-link a Firewall in the Griffin. Or you can even do a Gumblar and a Griffin, for example, because you can summon your painters on the zone of Gumblar. That's why I like Gumblar in this deck, because it's really competitive, because you can summon your painters in Gumblar's zone, or a zone the link monster points to. Discard the fodder that you search off of your own snowy canvas. You search the ammunition for this. Rip cards out of your opponent's hand. Then they search. You use a whirl. You rip another card out their hand. And then you flip a shared right on them. This deck can, like I said, it can get out of control. It just has to get started. It has to set up. So yeah, I play all these. And where's my Topologic Bomber Dragon? My extra deck is actually 14 cards, because my Topologic is right here. And I play Topologic for this build. Why? Because Topologic is a link 4 that requires 2 effect monsters. So one of this and any monster goes into this. And this card is really good on this deck because every standby, your painters get summoned. And you know something that's really cool? If you summon a painter in the column that Topologic Zones points to, his effect triggers, mandatory. But you can chain their effects to banish them for cost, similar to that I was saying about Torrential Tribute. So you destroy your opponent's monsters, but your weather painters got banished. They're gone. They can get annoying, like they just run away and they come back and they run away. So yeah, these cards are amazing. You play all these, including Skull Dread, for the boost. And then of course you got Bust Your Board Wide Open Dragon. You got Unicorn. You've got Decode. You can put it back to where they get summoned in the zones that Decode points to on standby. So yeah, really, really good card. Really great card. Then we have Akashic, we have Underclock, we have Phoenix, and we have Cerberus. The cool thing with the Nightmares is you actually search a lot off of your Snowy, so you always get ammunition to discard. And you can even discard a card that you set up for your Sunny canvas. So yeah, like I said, this deck can really get out of hand once it gets set up. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. This deck is fun. It's really cool. It's very it's a very reactive, the build that I'm playing, and it really does snowball into a lot of advantage. And like I said, it can win games, but the thing is, this deck has to live turns. This deck is really bad against OTK decks. That's why I play all those traps, so I can stop OTK decks. But if you're playing a deck that has to grind like Sky Strikers, this deck will probably have a better chance against Sky Strikers, especially because they can engage for a Widow Anchor, and you can just snipe that Widow Anchor off of your Royal. But the thing is, that deck's slow, and this deck is slow too, so it needs a setup. Once you build up to turn 3 and you can summon this guy, yeah, turn 3 is when this deck starts going bananas. But turn 1 and 2, you're just reacting to what your opponent does. You're flipping shared rides, you're demising them. You know, you're chalicing, you're striking, you're impermanencing. You know, your rivalry of the warlord, stuff like that. Like, that's how you set up to turn 3. Turn 3, you just start exploding. I went really in depth. I hope that you guys appreciate my hard work and dedication to this channel. I really wanted to showcase my weather painters again because I know it's been a while. But I love this deck. And for those of you who have the patience to watch this video, I hope that you learned a lot about the deck and its strategy. It's really good and it's fun. I'd say it's like tier 2.5. It's not tier 3 because it can get away with playing some really good staples. But God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. You folks have a beautiful day, okay? Don't do drugs. And you can also play, like, you know, what's it called? Lose one turn and anti-spell and other stuff like that. There's other floodgates you can play. But, yeah, peace out, you guys. I'm out. I'm going to sleep.